Hey guys, I wanted to follow up with you on the first video that I shot a couple of weeks ago on my 1998 M119 powered SL500 R129 chassis. This video, of course, is applicable to the W124 E500E cars, as well as the W140 S500 or CL500. And certainly there's a lot of similar specs and features with the V12 M120s and also some of the 6-cylinders. But specifically on my car, which is the M119, I wanted to share with you the wrap-up of the first video that I did and walk you through some of the things that I did just to show you the final product. So last night I installed the aluminum radiator from CSF, which I showed you in the other video, and here it is installed. It's a pretty tight fit, but overall it went in without any issue, and fit and finish is real nice. As I mentioned in the first video, it's kind of hard to see or appreciate some of the fabrication that goes into this radiator. It's pretty well covered up from the shroud and also the clutch fan, and so you really can't see much of it except really the aluminum end tanks and of course the mounts. One thing that I did notice is it's pretty tight fit where the condenser, which is right here, slips into the front of the radiator, but you'll have to wrestle with that a little bit to get it to fit into the ears on the CSF, but it'll go in, and then you can start bolting it all up, and there were no other issues really at all. So that went smoothly in. I installed new radiator hoses, the upper radiator hose, and then the lower hose, which is down here, hard to tell. I also installed a brand new hose from the expansion tank, which is the fill to the radiator. I also installed a brand new expansion tank with cap and also a new level sensor. So that also went in last night. You can see I'm running the blue G48 coolant, which is really the right coolant for this aluminum head and block, and I talked about that in my first video. And yeah, and everything just kind of went in nicely. I guess one last thing to mention is I also installed a brand new Continental Serpentine 6-rib belt and a new 80-degree thermostat with the housing, and of course this rubber elbow is brand new as well. In the process, I cleaned all the clamps, and they tend to get a little bit grimy, but that's all been cleaned and it's all back together. And I had the car with the nose up in the air last night, as high as it would go, and the cooling system on these cars, they're very, very well designed, very thoughtfully designed by Mercedes, and purging the cooling system is quite easy due to the high point being right here. But I always get the nose nice and high just to help any trapped air work its way out of the car to the highest point, and it purged no problem. Within 10 minutes the car was up to operating temperature 80 degrees, and it stayed there for at least another 10 minutes, so no problems there. The temperatures are nice and solid, and everything is nice and smooth. The one thing I wanted to share is when you're removing your old expansion tank, it's fairly straightforward. This plastic piece of trim has to come out, which is just a 10mm plastic nut holding it on, and then lifting this rubber seal, and then this piece will come out. That'll reveal two 10mm nuts holding down the housing of the expansion tank. You take those off, and then the last tricky piece, there is a rubber grommet that holds the actual expansion tank into the fender, and you've got to tug on the expansion tank really hard to pull it out. Alternatively, you can, if you have the car jacked up, you can maybe take the wheel off and then slightly tap on the back underside with a rubber mallet, and it'll push the expansion tank out. It feels like it's gonna fight you, but it'll come out, and no issues there. When I put the new tank in, I put in a brand new rubber grommet from Mercedes, very inexpensive, like $1.50 or $1.70, and yeah, and everything goes back in real smooth. So really, that's it. I will share the performance of the cooling with the new thermostat, the new radiator, and of course the new coolant in the upcoming weeks. Today, of course, is the first day I'll drive the car, and I'm looking forward to doing that. It's been a few weeks since I've actually driven it, so it'll be great to see how the car actually performs. But based on the temperatures it was holding last night, everything seems to be working extremely well. And the good thing about using this new blue coolant is if you have any leaks, it's easy to see it on the garage floor. I had one hose clamp that was just a little bit loose. It was actually the fill line from the expansion tank to the radiator, this guy. I had one of those clamps, which is the one of the radiator, a little bit loose, so you can see just starting to develop a small leak. And thanks to the blue coolant, it's easy to spot it. So anyway, that's the wrap up. I'll just walk you into the garage, and I'll show you once again. Here's the temperature, not the temperature, excuse me, the color changes of the coolant. Here's what I started with, the original goldy orange coolant, which is the original coolant. And then as I flushed the cooling system with just over 10 gallons of distilled water, you can see how that distilled water diluted the coolant until it was clear. And here's the brand new G48 coolant that I'm using in the car, which is the best for our M119 engine. So you can see quite a variety of, quite a color spectrum as you go from the original and you start going through the flushing process, and then end up with the nice new clean coolant. The thing with this stuff, guys, is you do not want to mix your coolants. So you really want to get to the point where it's nice and clean and clear for optimum performance with the new coolant. You do not want to mix this stuff with this. You really want to take the time and the effort to go through and properly flush your cooling system, including you know, making sure that you have your heater on and it's running through your core. So just remember that. And here is the old expansion tank that I took off the car last night. It's in good shape, actually, nothing wrong with it. It's a bit discolored, which is just a function of age and then all the heat cycles, but it works really well, nothing wrong with it. No cracks, extremely well made. So I'm just gonna put it on the shelf and keep it for future, similar with the factory radiator that I removed. I'm just gonna put it back in the CSF box, which I have over here, and just throw it on the shelf. And here are my old radiator hoses. Again, nothing wrong with these guys, but they're the original ones from 1998, so they're 23 years old, coming up on 24. And while there's nothing wrong, I thought, well, here's a good opportunity to go ahead and put in brand new hoses. My born-in date for my car actually is December of 1997. So anyway, guys, I guess one last thing to remember is if you change your radiator, don't forget you're going to lose a little bit of transmission fluid that's in the cooler. So you'll have to buy the right transmission fluid and top it off, which is the Shell ATF 134 for the 722.6 transmission that's in my car. So I need to do that today, so I'll top that off. And that's it. So hope the video helps, and if you guys have any questions or comments on this video or the previous one, please let me know. I hope this is helpful for many years to come for owners, and hope it helps. So with that, take care, stay tuned, subscribe, like, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye.